The British group Arctic Monkeys would release their debut album in 2006 titled Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not. But what's the story behind the man on the cover smoking a cigarette? This is a subscriber request, so as always folks, if you have suggestions for stories you'd like to see me cover, the link is in the description box below. The man on the cover of the group's debut album is named Chris McClure. McClure, who's a musician himself, was the frontman of a band called the Violent May. McClure would gig alongside Arctic Monkeys during their early days. Recalling to the Guardian newspaper, I first met Arctic Monkeys on the last bus home. We were 16, we'd go to the same gigs in Sheffield, then see each other on the number 77, so we became friends. When they went on their first tour, I was their guitar tech. I couldn't tune a guitar to save my life, but I think they wanted someone who was part of the gang. As for how he ended up on the cover of the album, he'd add, I was studying sociology at Manchester Metropolitan University when I got a call from Andy Nicholson, the bassist. They were working on their debut album and wanted pictures of a guy on night out for the artwork. There was no suggestion, it was for the cover. Andy asked if I'd do it and I said, why not? I'm not sure why me. I never asked. I think they just wanted someone normal. McClure soon found himself on his way to Liverpool to shoot the album cover, but the band members were not there. Instead, they were out on the road on tour. The photographer for the shoot would meet McClure at 2 p.m. and had given him hundreds of pounds and told him to go get drunk and come back in about 12 hours. And he came back blitzed at 2 a.m. with him adding to the Guardian newspaper. There was a venue below the bar and we did the pictures there. Just me, sat on a stool. They gave me more whiskey and I threw up halfway through. Everything was blurry. The band would end up seeing the shots 3 weeks later and loved them so much they decided to use it for their album cover. It was shortly after the group's first release. McClure felt the change almost instantaneously. On the first day of coming out, Arctic Monkeys' first record became the fastest selling debut album in British history, and the album would go on to be 7 times platinum in the UK, moving about 2.1 million copies. Despite working in a pub at the time, reporters soon wanted to interview McClure, bugging his landlord and mother for information on who the man was. He soon got TV appearance offers. The paper The Daily Star offered him £10,000 if they could do a story on him and follow him around for a night, while bars would call him up asking him to make appearances. Despite being only 19 at the time, you would have thought he would have readily accepted these offers, but he felt bad using the band's name to make money, so he ended up declining everything but a few interviews with a handful of publications. In the subsequent years, he would tell the Guardian newspaper he was a student and he would frequently go to house parties and see his face plastered on posters of Arctic Monkeys at a lot of these parties, and people would often stick cigarettes in his face to strike the same poses on the album cover. He would also meet some of his musical idols, including Noel Gallagher, telling The Guardian, Noel Gallagher did a double take. He said, I've got you hanging in my house. I said, I've got you in mine. McClure also appeared on the cover of Todd Latti's 2009 debut album, Skanky Skanky, reprising his famous role. He would pay homage to the album on his 15th anniversary, writing on Twitter, 15 years, what a record. Met some great people since, literally through having my photo taken. Pleasure to be associated with it. McClure would be paid about £750 for appearing on the album cover and admitted he would do it all over again, but instead he would ask for a cut of album sales. These days he's far less recognized and has stated he wanted to be remembered for something other than being on the album cover. As to what he's up to today, he would admit he works with adults with learning disabilities, while also still playing in bands, and even wrote a sitcom, including Steve Bracknell's Sunday League. He's still friends with the members of Arctic Monkeys to this very day. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again in Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.